Hi everyone, my name is Elizabeth. My pronouns are she, her. Welcome to my Flosstube channel. This is Savory Sewing. You can also find me on Instagram at Savory Sewing. A Flosstube channel is a YouTube channel where folks talk about cross stitch, what they're stitching, what they want to stitch, what they want to buy to support their stitching habit, all of those things. In this video today, it's not going to be a usual Flosstube video. We are going to film a WIP Parade. It's not quite a mid-year WIP Parade because it's August already, but a year ago this time I filmed my very first WIP Parade when I first started my channel. Video number 2 was a WIP Parade, and so I thought it would be timely to revisit my previous WIPs and see how many of those I actually finished. And I think I did okay. I had 30 WIPs in August of 2023 when I filmed that video. And I finished 14 of them and I UFO'd 2. So about half of them are off the old WIP pile. But I managed to start a few things in the meantime. And my WIP number is up to 50. So not surprising. I had been doing 24 new starts in 2024. And so it's August already. I actually haven't started my August new starts yet, but I did January through July, so that's 14, plus all of the other things that, you know, you start over the course of a year, new stitch alongs, other enabling, all of those good things. So, yeah, WIP Parade time. I am going to go in chronological order. My oldest WIPs are now from 2021 because I finished all of my 2020 outstanding WIPs. I think there was only one, but I finished it and that feels really good. So let's get started. I have all my WIPs here in piles by year on the floor. And so I am going to just go through them, tell you a little bit about them, pop a picture of the pattern in here so you can see what they're going to look at like when, you know, someday they get finished. And yeah. All right, here goes 50 WIPs, folks. All right, so this is WIP. My oldest WIP now is this one. This is from Just Cross Stitch magazine, the 2020 October issue. And I've shown this recently because this came up on WIP Go, I think, last month, so it's gotten some love lately. And I'm kind of optimistic that maybe I can finish it this year. This is called Don't Be Scared. It is from, as I said, the Just Cross Stitch 2020 issue. It's this cute little Halloween haunted house scene. And I'm stitching it on 14 count flapper Ada from Picture This Plus and all the called for DMC. This is from art that was then adapted to cross stitch, and the art is by, I think, Kim's Cottage or something like that. I popped the picture up. But this has gotten a lot of love. This is how big it is. I spent a bunch of time the other night trying to fill in all of this. And I need to finish this big moon, and then there's some more tree stuff going on, and then there's a bunch of little like confetti in the sky you can kind of see. So I'm definitely going to try to focus on this, and maybe I can get it finished this October. I do have a lot of other Halloween WIPs, so maybe not, but it would be nice to get this done. So that's WIP number 1. All right. I'm going to make a mess, but that's just the nature of the game. So WIP number 2, this is by Owl Forest Embroidery. It's called Autumn Flowers. And I started this in May of 2021. I did buy the Owl Forest threads for this. So I've got the variegated threads. And this is where I am. I'm not going to show you the whole piece of fabric, but this is about a quarter of it. The middle is here. So there's a lot more to go. This is on Ada as well. This is 16 count. Picture this, no, Mystic Fabrics in Please Scream Inside Your Heart. So COVID fabric right here. And again, stitching with all the called for Owl Forest threads. This is really beautiful. It just doesn't get the love and attention it deserves from me. And I think this is, for better or for worse, one of those 2020 WIPs that's going to be around for a while because I just don't have a ton of it done. But it's really pretty. Look at those threads. I mean, this is one color. This brown green variegated here. They're so beautiful. I know they're harder to get just because shipping's so expensive now, but they are really beautiful. All right, number 3 on the WIP list. I think this also came out in July. as part of, you know, doing a little bit of Christmas and July stitching. I don't have a ton of Christmas projects, but this is one of them. Here it is. I'll pop a picture in and then I'll show you up close my stitching. So this is also from a magazine, and I cannot remember. It's either World of Cross Stitching or Cross Stitcher. I think it's Cross Stitcher. This is also based on art by a person named Siobhan Harrison, I believe. And based on her Instagram, she does a lot of like graphic design for like cards and stuff. And so it looks like this had been like a Christmas card or another kind of card that had been adapted to cross stitch. And here's mine. I put a lot of effort into getting this lady's skirt done. And so I just need to give her like her top body half and her head. This is on Sakura Lugana from Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. I think it's 32 count. And I'm stitching it with all the called for DMC. And there's a ton of back stitching in this. Like I am this much into her skirt, and her whole skirt's got like, I don't know, 30 or 40 vertical lines of back stitching. So there's a lot left to do. I would also really like to get this done this year. We'll see. I think of all of my 2024 WIPs, I could get 3 of them done if I, or excuse me, 2021 WIPs. I think I could get 3 of them done if I really tried, but we'll see. There's lots of other things to stitch. This is my last 2021 WIP. I started this in November. This is a combination of a kit pattern from Cotton and Twine, like a stitch box, and then I wanted to change the words, so I bought a pattern off of Etsy. And so this image here is like a little cobbled, or these are the 2 separate patterns, and this is where I am. I also decided I'm only going to stitch this part. I'm not going to stitch it all the way around like it shows in the original pattern. And then it's going to say my favorite season is the fall of the patriarchy. And so I really want to get this finished this fall. There's not too much left to do. I just need to finish the words, and then I think some doodads on the leaves over here. There's just a few things missing. So this has probably got 1, maybe 2 days left of stitching. And it's this is the Ada that came in the kit. I don't know what it is. They all came with 16 count of some sort, and then it also came with all the DMC. So those are all my 2021 WIPs that are left in the pile. It would be nice to get them out of the way, or at least the 3 of them that I think I can get done. Sorry, I'm trying to turn my tablet back on because it's got my list. Technical difficulties. All right, so 2021 WIPs, little pile. All right, I'll throw them over there and then pick up my 2022 WIPs. I have 8 of these, and these are some of my favorites, I realized as I was going through my pile. Some of them I can't believe they're that old, but I guess 2022 wasn't that long ago. But this one has been getting a little bit of love lately because in August I've decided my theme for the month was to stitch on everything that had, you know, flowers or garden stuff on it. And so this is called Come to the Garden by Teresa Kogut. And this is where I am. I've got a good bit done. This month I added in this little bird here and this little doodad here, and I'm working on bringing the border up. But isn't it so beautiful? I'm stitching it with, I think it's all the called for flosses. It's a mix of DMC and overdyes, and the fabric is Affogato by, is it Fiber on a Whim? Hold on. It's such a pretty fabric. This is one of my favorite fabrics to stitch on. I don't want to reinstall that. Yeah, it's Fiber on a Whim. It's just so nice. It's a, sorry, you're not seeing anything, just me. 36 count? Yeah, it's 36 count Affogato. It's just so nice as I stitch in hand, and this has got such a nice feel to it. So, see, I've got a ways to go. But how beautiful. So beautiful. All right, so I don't know, I think that's maybe WIP number 5. I'm not going to really keep count accurately because I'm going to lose my numbers soon, but next 2022 WIP, this is from, it's also a magazine pattern, but it's also now available on Stitchrovia's website. This is called Midnight Magic, and here is my project. I'm going to hold it back. I'm stitching this on a fabric of the month from Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers, excuse me. It's called Wicked Nights. It was like the October, maybe possibly 2022 color, because I started this in, no, it must have been 2021 because I started this January 31st, 2022. And the called for is on navy. I'm stitching this on a much lighter color. I think it still is working, and I'm stitching it with all the called for DMC. I think it looks really good. I'd love to get this finished too, but we'll see. It's definitely coming out next month. Or, I'm probably gonna start Halloween stitching like tomorrow, so let's be real. But in theory, in September, which is already almost here because it's August 10th. So, all right. So now we are about to embark on a. Oh no, we're not there yet. There's going to be a period of time in which it's all monochromatic Halloween stitching, but we're not there yet. Spoilers. So the next one is pretty monochromatic, and it is a Halloween piece. This is called Silhowitches Quaker by Teresa Kogut, and I started this in April of 2022, and this is where I am. This is the bottom. Is this the right corner, left corner? My sense of direction is not great, period, and it gets worse when I'm filming. So, you know, if you saw the picture, you know. I'm stitching this also on a Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers Lugana, and I've completely forgotten the name of the color. It was a fabric of the month. I don't think it's available. I'm stitching it, and I think the called for over dyes, which are just this browny gray, and then there is a, oh, here you can see there's a green in there. And the green kind of picks up the modeling in this purpley green fabric, which I think looks really nice. I'd love to get this finished too, but there's a lot left of this guy. All right, next, this is by Tiny Modernist. It's called Scissors with Flowers. I started this in May of 2022. This is on my WIP Go board for a finish this year, and it has not been called yet, and it is very, very close. I think I pulled this out in May and worked on it. I'm probably going to work on it a little bit this month, and then whenever WIP Go gets called. All I need to do is a bunch of back stitching and then to finish like this spool. And I think there's some leaves missing. I did make a counting error somewhere in here, I think, but I'm just going to fudge it because it's just, you know, viney leafy things. No one's ever going to know. This is also on Lugana from Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. I was in the fabric of the month. I have a ton of it. A lot of my older WIPs are on this fabrics from them. They're lovely. And it is not exactly in the called for DMC, but it's very close. I wanted the colors to match another piece that I stitched by another designer. And so some of the colors, but I mean, they were still pinks and greens and what have you. I just tweaked them a little bit. But really pretty. It's going to hang on my wall someday. It is hopefully going to, well, it's going to be a 2024 finish. So you probably won't see it again until it's finished, and hopefully not in next year's WIP Parade. All right, next on the list is a Lindy Stitches pattern. This is called A Stitch for Sweet Freedom. I worked on this a whole bunch in July this year, and I'm very close to having it finished. I know it's on my WIP Go board, and I believe it gets one more call this year, which means 3 more days. And so I'm pretty sure this is going to be a finish this year. I actually can't remember now if it already has had its 6 days or not. But regardless, it's not got a ton left. I need to finish the words. There's some motifs up here, and the lady needs a head. This is 36 count acid wash by Forbidden Fiber Co. linen. And it is mostly the called for, which were a combo of DMC and overdyes with some subs. But again, if they were subbed, they were like a blue for a blue, and they were just from Stash. But really like this. I really like it on this kind of cloud sky fabric too. All right, WIP. Almost through my 2022 WIPs. My tablet keeps going to sleep. Apologies, folks. This one you also would have seen recently, I believe, in my last video, because I pulled this out in July as well. This is by Barbara Anna Designs, and this is Santa's Trips. This was the stitch along in, I think, 2020. I started mine in 2022. Maybe it was 2021. I can't remember. But you can get this pattern now. It's no longer just a stitch along. This is where I am. I've got 3 more boxes in the border to go. This is 40 count, it's not steel, Silver Fox from Picture This Plus, or Fiber on the Whim. No, I can't remember. And it's all the called for DMC. Look at those cute little Santas and Mrs. Clauses. Very cute. Also something I would love to get finished this year, but I don't know. Probably next year. I'm going to say that a lot. All right, I've got 2 more 2022 WIPs. This next one, I did set myself a goal to finish it by the end of this month. I remembered that when I pulled it out to iron it this morning. It has not been touched yet this month, but I think I could do it. So, you've seen her before. You know her, you love her. This is Dark Queen of the Earth by Autumn Lane Stitchery, and here is mine. All I need to do is finish some backstitch and do the beading, and I've already started both. So you can see she's got some of the beads all around her face. Her face is done. I've done her tattoos in her arms, and I had started working on the bottom of the skirt, which I think you can see some of it, but I've got a bunch left to do, and then the rest of the beading. So I'd really like to finish her this month because September 1st is it'll be 2 years since she was released, I think. And so it'd be nice to get her done. Just, you know, arbitrary deadlines, right? But isn't she gorgeous? Oh my goodness. And I would like to finish her because I'm going to Pinwis, the Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit, in September, and, you know, Acorns and Threads Fall Retreat. So if anyone else is going, let me know. And I'd love to take her for the brag table. Which reminds me, I probably should start working on my small for the Smalls Exchange. I should probably do that. It's like a month away. That's a good idea. All right, last 2022 WIP is by Witch's Garden Crafts. This is the Salem 1692 sampler. And this is where I am. It's a big piece of fabric, and I'm going to fold it so you can see it. It'll be about this long. This is Silver Fox by Fiber on a Whim as well. I think someday, folks, and I know I say this every video, I'm going to know the difference between Fiber on a Whim and Picture This Plus, but I honestly, they just are the same in my head, and I know that's not true, but it is. I'm stitching this in some of the called for. It's all charted in DMC, and I've subbed some fancy floss, I think, in the same colors. Like if it was an orange, it's still an orange. Because this is charted on like a dark gray, and I'm definitely stitching it on obviously like a lighter gray, I had to do a little bit of work to change the colors, and then some of it is just obviously like very tone on tune. Like there is a motif here, right? But it's faded in, and I like it, so I'm not. I think it makes it look a little bit older. And I think I'd mentioned in previous videos when I showed this, I was worried about that spider being so dark. But I think now that that house is in, I don't mind it quite so much. So we're still going to keep just going using 310 instead of subbing in an over dyed black with a little bit more, you know, like variation to make it lighter. So I also really like this. All right, so that was all my 2022 WIPs. So we're like 20 minutes in, and I am, all right, got 12 WIPs done. So we're about, what, an eighth of the way? I can't math. Oh, we're a quarter of the way through. Quarter of the way. All right, we're gonna move on to pile number 3. So now we're into 2023, and I have 11 2023 WIPs. And interestingly enough, or maybe not, the first ones are from like June. So anything I'd started in 2023 from like January to June 26th, apparently I finished. And then these are from the end of that year. So, I wonder if that maybe corresponds to like when I started Flosstube, which means I used to start and finish things in a timely manner, and now I just start lots of things and don't finish them. Anyway, all right, this is a big pile. Oh, I didn't mean to bring the project bags. It's much smaller when I don't bring all the project bags. This is the first 2023 WIP that I'm going to show you today. This is by Noctiflora Designs, and it's called Be Queer Do Stitchcraft. This was part of a Stitch for Pride bundle from 2023, maybe 2022. I can't remember now. I think this is available, but I don't actually know. And here is mine. I just love this fabric. It is so cheerful. It is called Razzmatazz. It's Lugana from Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. I'm stitching it with DMC 310 for all the black, and then that blue purple variegated is called Auntie D, and it's Classic Colorworks. I was really hoping to finish this June. There was just a lot. That border doesn't seem like it's a ton of stitching, right? It's just 2 lines of single crosses, but it's a lot of stitching. So, but I did finish all the words on the bottom. I just need to finish. This side is a mirror image of this side. So, look at how pretty that variegation of that fabric is. All right, 2023. Next, this is by the Craft Experimentalist. This is the 9-banded Pride sampler. I started this last June. I pulled it out for a couple of days of stitching this June as well. And here is where I am. I'm not going to unfold this fabric because it's big and this is all I have done. So this is 36 count linen from Forbidden Fiber Co. in the colorway Nacreous. And I'm stitching it, I think it's charted DMC, and I pulled overdyes and or DMC, you know, that were red, orange, yellow, and green. Because that green is definitely variegated and that yellow is too. So just a little stash conversion, but the same color palette. All right, next we've got Dream of a Winter Garden. This was the bonus pattern for the first Evertote Modern Folk Embroidery Roxy Floss Holiday Countdown Sale, which was 2022's. Yeah, there's the 24 will be the third one. And you can now buy this pattern. I think you can get it as a paper copy probably from Evertotes, and I think it's on Jacob's website for Modern Folk Embroidery as well. I am stitching this on, I believe this is a limited edition fabric from it's Zweigart, but I don't think it's Zweigart. I thought it was Needle Bling Designs, but maybe it is. It's in the colorway Pearl. It's just a pretty neutral. It's got I feel like it's got a little bit of sheen in real life, but you can't see the fabric. It's just reading really white. And this here's where I am. I'm stitching this with the Roxy Floss colors that came with the 2022 box. They provided a conversion. I believe right now if you purchase it, there is a slightly different colorway. The greens are a little bit different if you buy the Roxy Floss that are charted. And I don't believe you can get the colors, like the colors that I have for some of these. Like this green, I don't think you can get. But this is where I am. Not too much done. I think I don't work on this one very often. Super pretty, but need to get it done. Next. Ooh, I love this one. All right, this one has a slightly sad story, but I think I figured out, well, I have a solution for it. So this is the Stitcher's Grimoire from the Witchy Stitcher. This was a Patreon chart when I first started it. You can now purchase this from her website. And here's where I am. This is also a Lugana from Fiberlicious. I can't recall the color. It was a fabric of the month, but you can just see it was one of the fall ones, and it's got some reds and greens and browns. And based on the DMC that was called for this pattern, which was basically black and some reds and greens, I thought it would make it was good. Oh, my nails match it. I am actually stitching it not in 310. This is an overdyed black from, I'm pretty sure Forbidden Fiber Co. I think it's Raven. And then the red is an overdyed, and that's all I've got stitched. I think there's a couple other colors. Like there's a little frog, I believe, who's supposed to be in this cauldron, who's in green. I love this. I lost my PDF. I think I have a bad habit of not saving them when I download them from Patreon and just opening them and then stitching and then forgetting. But So I need to either purchase a new copy or reach out to the Witchy Stitcher and see if I can prove I was in Patreon, if she'll send a PDF, but we'll see. But I really love this. I need to get the pattern because I want to stitch on it because it's so good. So good. All right, next is a little freebie that's available on the Evertote website. This is by Ellen Maximum Cross Stitch. It's called Fall is Greater. Fall is greater than summer, fight me. I just thought it was cute and I am stitching it. I have a tiny start. I'd like to finish it this year as well. I don't remember what this fabric is. I think it might be the leftovers from the 2022 Stitch holiday countdown box, because that seems like something that I would do, because I am stitching it with with the Roxy floss that were left over from that box, and the 2023 box, because I can now. I didn't have that when I started it, but I have those flosses now and those colors make sense. But this would be nice to finish this year as just a little guy. Next, ooh, this is another good one. This was in the magazine. This was just cross stitch. No, I started this at the same time as some stuff from cross stitch. This is definitely not a cross stitch pattern or just cross stitch pattern. This is Modern Folk Embroidery. This has got the Morbs. This was inspired by, I think, a meme or an Instagram photo, or something that Miriam from Marumi Crafts shared on Instagram, and Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery saw it and charted something in like 24 hours or something. And so you can get this pattern on his website. It's a PDF. And I have a tiny, I think there was also a stitch along for it. A bunch of people started it. Well, I started it on 9/23/23, so maybe that was the day of this that we all started this. I know a bunch of people have finished it, and there's some really nice versions out there. This is where I am. Well, I'll let you see it, and then we'll talk about it. This is actually the same fabric that I'm stitching Salem 1692 sampler on, but just a different piece of it. It's very different. You can see there's a lot of green. This is Steel by Fiber on a Whim in a 36 count. And I'm stitching it with, I think, this is like DMC 414 or something. It's a gray. And it's very tone on tone, which I like. I tried to put it somewhere where there was a lot of that green so you could see it. Here, this fabric is really pretty. I mean, look at that. Super pretty. But actually, while I'm here, this is where Salem 1692 sampler was on it. So like this fabric was, if I was going to put this fabric back together, it was something like this. Yeah, must have been like that. So anyway, if anyone cares. So I need to get working on this. I think it was just, it's a little hard to see because it's very, tone on tone. But I love it. And again, it also matches my nails. And I really would like to get this done this year. There's so many things, right? This is what happens when everyone, we're all broken records and WIP parades. We really want to work on these again, and then we put them away and you'll see them again next year. All right. Oh, so this is when I mentioned earlier that you were going to see start seeing some monochromatic. That's the first. I think Stitcher's Grimoire was a little bit monochromatic in the monochromatic Halloween parade portion of this video. So this next pattern is by Luminous Fiber Arts, and it's called Enchanted Quaker. I love this. This was a new start last year for Halloween-ish time. I really love Halloween Quakers. And I really need to get some of mine finished so that I can start more. You saw Silhowitches Quaker. I have this one. I have a couple more charts in my pile. I kind of also want to buy that new one that just came out at National or whatever they're calling it, Needlework Expo, whatever it is. There's another new one. There's so many good ones. Anyway, here's where I am. This is, I'm stitching with DMC, some gray. That looks pretty on this fabric. And this is Dusk by Hand Dyed by Rolanda. And so it's going to be, this big. And I just think that dark gray looks you know, I really wanted to take advantage of this pretty piece of fabric and just put one color of floss that I thought would look nice on it. So here's where I am. I think this is almost 2 pages finished. It's a little booklet, and so the pages aren't super big. But love that. Next is one of my other favorite Halloween pieces. So I started this with Stephanie from Frolin Knits, and I had seen a stitched model of this when I visited Shepherd's Bush last August and fell in love. And so I bought it, and she saw it on my video, and we decided to start it together. And it is All Hallows Eve sampler by Joan Elliott. And it's just lovely. I'm stitching mine on, this is Eerie by Forbidden Fiber Co. As you can see, it's this beautiful purple green variegated, which is one of my favorite color combinations for fabric and floss. And I'm stitching it with, I think it's Chalkboard by Forbidden Fiber Co. So this is all Forbidden Fiber Co. And I just worked on it last month on the 31st, and I got more of these witches done. So I'm really happy that I've got that much done. I did make a counting mistake, and so this is here counted. So this is how much margin I'm going to have at the top if I stitch it as charted. I've got enough room, but I'm also debating taking out the alphabet and putting like a fun phrase of some sort up there. I don't know what. But I got a lot of ways to go. I think I'm going to work all the way down and then think about it. But it's really pretty. I really enjoy, this is a great piece for when I don't really want to think too much, although it is a lot of counting, but there is something very soothing about stitching with one color. And there is a little yellow in there too. That's also a Forbidden Fiber Co. Just yellow floss from a kit or a box I got. All right, one more 2023 WIP. And then, oh, actually, that's not true. There's 2 more well, all right. I'm going to show you this, and then I'll tell you why you're not going to see the other 2. This is Moonglow from Nora Corbett. I started this with Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe, and Allie from Allie Z is Crafty. Katie, the Peacock Stitcher, joined us, and a lot of other folks are also stitching this. The hashtag was Moonglow Magic Sal. There are also some folks who had started a sal previously under the hashtag Embrace the Folds Sal. So there's some really beautiful versions of this out there. I really like the ones where folks, you know, recharted the hair color to look more like them. I also stole that idea and did it for mine. She's gotten some love this month, so if you, I can't remember the last time she came out, probably May, but I did spend 2 days on her this month. So she's stitched on, I think this is Olive by Hand Dyed by Rolanda. It's a 28 count linen. Let me double check that because I thought I remembered what this was. Yep. And I'm stitching with all the called for. So DMC and the Karen Water Lilies. I worked on getting this leafy thing done, and then I started I just started doing a little bit of the back stitching of her feet, and then started working on her hair. So I did sub out her hair. She's charted for all of that to be in 3391. This is Classic Colorworks, something that looked like it was brownish, lighter brown, like my hair. So, love her. I'd like to get her done too, but I don't think that's happening this year. It's okay. I do have 2 more 2023 WIPs. One you're not going to see because it's a present, and there's a small chance that the person who will be gifted it watches. And the other one I can't find my WIP of, but oh wait, nope, that's not it. I don't know where it is. So there are 2 more 2023 WIPs. They're mysteries. Hopefully you'll see them when they're done, or we will never speak of them again. All right, so we made it through 2023, which in 35 minutes feels faster than I thought. So maybe I'm just very chatty today. I don't know. 2024. Let me grab that pile. That pile is the biggest pile. So I have 26 2024 WIPs. And, or 2024 starts. And then I was gonna, oh, I meant to pull, let me see. And I've finished. Notion is amazing. Also, folks, if you're not, if you are looking for a way to track your cross stitch in a nice database and you're not averse to learning a new database if you don't already, Notion with the, I can't remember what the name of her template is, but Stitchy Nati on Instagram has a template and it is absolutely lovely for organizing your things and keeping things in line. So anyway, so the point was I have 26 2024 starts to show you, and I've also finished 27 things so far this year, of which many of them were also starts. So 2024 was definitely a year of start all the things, which is totally cool. All right, let me grab that pile and show you some stitching, because I think you're more here to see the stitching than to listen to me chat, or both. All right, so my first 2024 WIP that I'm going to show today, I started for Aliton from Cross Stitch the Globe's birthday. Hashtag Stitchy Princess B-Day sale? Or just Princess B-Day sale, something like that. If I remember, I will put it here. And she likes Cinderella and princesses, so she wanted everyone to stitch princessy things, or, you know, princess in the name. I happen to have a pattern from Stitchy Princess, and so I started that. This is Miss Sunflower. And I have a sad amount of start because I've made the same mistake twice and I need to frog and redo, and it's making me angry. So poor little Miss Sunflower is not gotten the love that she deserves. This is on 36 count corn silk from Forbidden Fiber Co. And I believe it's DMC. I subbed the green in. This is a Threadworks called Grass is Greener. It's a really pretty variegated green that I thought would look nice in her skirts. And then the rest of it, you can see that, you can't even see. There's some white stitching in there too, but I think it's just blanc. But I need to get this out because it will be sad when I pull this out on Allison's birthday in January and this is all that's done on it. So she's going to get some love this month because as a sunflower pattern, she fits into my August garden theme. So I'm going to pull this out and give it some love for Allison. And yeah. Next, 2024 WIP. This is from the Teresa Initiative. Which is an Instagram. You can get this from their Instagram. They're a group that promotes Palestinian Tetris, which is a style of embroidery, which is basically it is cross stitch, and there's lots of. I mean, it's beautiful. Go look at their Instagram. It's absolutely beautiful. This is the Tetris journal, so there's I think a motif for like every day. I'm just stitching them. I started this for Julie from Julian Stitches 16's birthday, also in January. She asked folks to choose a pattern for something that represented a cause that they cared about, and so this is what I chose. It's gonna fit in this hoop, and it's still living in this hoop even though I haven't touched it in a little while. I'm stitching 1/1 on 25 count with the called for DMC, and if I'm stitching 1/1, I have to have the tension, otherwise I usually stitch in hand. Yeah. But look how cute those motifs are. It's really beautiful. I need to work on it. I think this is Cloud Lugana from Zweigart. If I remember, that's the colorway. It's a pretty gray. Next is from the Acorns and Threads Acorn Gathering retreat that I attended in it was in January? Yeah, it was in January. So they have a smaller retreat every January. It's just a one-day stitchy retreat, and the designers were Fox and Rabbit. And so here's the pattern. It was called A Gathering of Acorns, and I thought I had more done. I've got like 3 acorns. I have also, and this is Fox and Rabbit. I think this is, I don't remember what they gave us, honestly. This might be paper bark, but I have another piece of paper bark, and I feel like my paper barks are different. But that could just be a dye lot thing. Oh no, this is hog bristle. This is hog bristle. We were given the floss, and I think it's DMC. Pretty sure it's DMC. I'm not going to stitch the whole thing. I'm not going to stitch the house. I'm actually going to do exactly what Katie from the Peacock Stitcher did. So we got to hang out at the retreat, and I'm pretty sure she just stitched the acorns and moved the squirrel up, and she might have put the words on it. I can't recall. But I will need to go back and look at her finish, and I'm going to copy it, and she knows that, so we're cool. I feel like it's getting hot, and I'm getting red. Whew. It is hot in Oregon again, and we have awful smog from the wildfires. The wildfires aren't really near us, but they're in the eastern part of the state. But we've not had good wind off the coast to like blow everything out, and so the wildfire smoke and the smog is seeping back into the valley, and it's unpleasant. It is keeping the temperature a little bit cooler, but still hot. All right, next, another retreat piece. So Lindy Stitches and Hands-On Design had a Superb Owl mini online virtual retreat on Superb Owl Sunday, which is one of my personal favorite holidays. We celebrate Superb Owl Sunday at my house because it means no more football for 6 months. My partner is a huge fan, and he's also been torturing me lately because I believe like whatever the pre-training games have started, and he just reminded me tonight that in like 2 weeks the season starts and he will become a Sunday couch potato instead of a functioning member of society. Anyway, you want to see the stitching, right? So this is the pattern that I started at the retreat. There were 2 patterns that were part of your ticket. This is the Hands-On Design pattern. It's called the Stitching Parliament, and it's got these 4 cute little owls that all have like little stitchy names. And I have stitched, I think I finished one of them completely. This is Snips. Look at little snippies. I'm stitching this on Picture This Plus Highland. This is 36 count. And I'm stitching, you probably noticed that this is not a square piece of fabric. I'm going to stitch mine in a row and turn them into a drum, because I think having a little owl drum of stitchy little owls will be adorable and in my stitching room. So I'm all the called for DMC. Look how cute he is. Ooh. Next one I also really love, and also was thinking I really wish I had more done on. This is by Stitchy Pros. It's called the Stitchy Witchy Bell Pull. I received this as part of the Kit It Up swap that was hosted by Chinook Crafter and one of the Megans from the Long Distance Stitchers. And this was the pattern that came in my kit, which came from Michelle of Bendy Stitchy. And I can't remember what the fabric is. I know it's a seraphim fabric, but it's super pretty. And she sent all the flosses. So this is stitched so far in DMC 310 étoile. I know you can't see the sparkle, but it's there. And this is all I've got done. I need to make a decision on the colors, because it's charted in, I think, Black Coffee and Rainy Day from Classic Colorworks, and Michelle sent a variety of fun flosses to choose from. So I need to work on that, but I really love this pattern, and I was so excited that this is what she decided to you know, send as part of the kit swap. So there's that. All right, next, also started in February. So I started that on Valentine's Day, because that's right, we had a Kit It Up swap start hashtag. I think it's, I don't know what the hashtag is. Maybe if I remember I'll put it here, but like a start day planned as part of the swap. It's like, you know, start the thing that you were sent. My next piece though is FOMO related. Everyone was picking out giant projects to start on Leap Day, and I was like, I'm not going to start something. That's silly. I don't want to do that. I don't need another start. Be a responsible human, Elizabeth. And then day of, I was like, everyone on Instagram was posting all of these beautiful things, and, you know, and so I FOMO started Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow, as one does. So this is by Carriage House Samplings. I'm sure many of you know and love the Hawk Run Hollow series. This is my favorite, obviously, because it's Halloween. I am stitching mine on 40 count Dusty Cottage by Bestitch Me. I think this is in the regular line. I got it as part of the Fabric of the Month club that I'm in. And I started at the middle with that cauldron, and this is where I am. I am stitching this in mostly the DMC that are charted, and then I've subbed some random fancy flosses, and I'm just going to do that as I go. Like, I think that this yellow, yeah, this bright yellow is not called for. Whatever color this is not called for. This is an over dye. You can see there's some variegation in there, but it's just going to be a game time decision as I go through. But I love this, and I think I'm going to have to put some more effort into it if I want to get it done in 4 years, because it's a big piece. All right. Next I've got 2 birthday starts. So my birthday was in March, or I guess it is in March. It will be in March again next year. And I started 2 pieces for my birthday this year. The first is Una Owl by the Artsy Housewife. I will pop a picture in here. I am stitching this 1/1 on 25 count Luzantana, so that's why she's also in this hoop. Actually, it's not the called for. Some of it's called for, and then I sub some of the overdyes with the Classic Colorworks for my stash. And so I just have her little head done. I really like her. I need to get her done because I also have, she's released another owl pattern that I also have, and so I'd like to get them both done. And I think I'm going to stitch them both on the same fabric just because I have plenty of this. I think that they would be cute together. My second birthday start, oh, I wish I had more done. This is, what's her name? Olivia the Forest Witch by Bella Filipina. This is my first Bella Filipina. And I guess my first real fancy lady, if you don't consider Dark Queen of the Earth to be a fancy lady, although she kind of is a fancy lady. She's got fancy lady things, right? She's big and beautiful. She's got beads and back stitching. But I'm sorry, I'm looking down at my piece because I don't know where the top is at this moment. I'm pretty sure she goes like this. I could be wrong. But here's where I am. I'm going to show you the big piece of fabric, and then I will show you my tiny, tiny start. I started this for my birthday, and Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Glow, or no, Stephanie from Frolin Knits. There are 2 Stephanies that I often start things with. And this is Frolin Knits Stephanie. She has a lot more done than I do. She's got some of her face, and I think she even started putting some of the beads in because she couldn't resist. She had lofty goals to finish hers by her birthday, which is this month. She did not, but I admire her motivation and her goal setting because she's got a lot more done than I do. So I will be pulling out this month to celebrate her birthday, and probably pulling out All Hallows Eve sampler as well. This is the called for fabric from Forbidden Fiber Co. or Fiberlicious Shimmy Fibers. I can't recall the name of it. Fall Foliage, maybe? I can't, don't quote me, but it is the one that if you go buy the pattern from them, that is there. Called for, it's DMC and Karen Water Lilies and sparkly stuff. I can't remember if that's Petite Treasure Play Braid or Krynic, but you can see that turquoise is sparkly. Yeah, tiny little start, but beautiful. Really like it. Need to work on it. You know, the usual. Once I finish Dark Queen, my goal actually had, in March, was I had to finish all the stitching on Dark Queen before I was allowed to start her, and I did get that done. But obviously, since you just saw her about 20 minutes ago, the beads and the backstitch aren't done. But once I get that done, this lady will get much more attention. All right, excuse me for 1 second. All right, so we're only in March of 2024, so we've got a lot more starts to, a lot more WIPs to go through. The next one, oh, this, I love this pattern. This is Rapin Quaker from Bendy Stitchy Designs. I've wanted this since I saw it in the Starlight Stitchery's Poison Garden box that I missed out on, and I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for her to release it, and she finally released it at Nashville this year, and I snapped it up very, very quickly and started it. So here is where I am. I'm going to show you this big piece of fabric. I'm going to do a drum finish. And so she's long and skinny. I'm stitching this with the Called For Classic Colorworks. And the fabric is Forbidden Fiber Co. And it's called, oh, it's a New Year's Eve word, Resolution. It was the fabric of the month for, I can't remember, either, I think for January this year. And I just thought it would be a nice, I don't know, it's not neutral, but it's kind of neutral. I thought it would look nice on it, so that's what we're doing. But it's beautiful, isn't it? I've got a ton more of this. I gotta stitch something else on this. Oh, I love this next pattern too. This was my other favorite from Nashville. Did I only buy 2 patterns from Nashville this year? If I bought more, I don't recall. But these are my 2 favorites, that one and this one. This is Counting Puddles, Brew Crew. Love, 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 love. I am doing a slightly moodier color conversion and stitching it on, I'll show you, and then I will, and you can see. So this is Phantasm by Atomic Ranch. It is a 28 count linen. Pretty sure it's 28. And this is a, I think it started in DMC, and this is a stash over dyed conversion. So it's a mix of Classic Colorworks and Roxy Floss, and probably some Forbidden Fiber Co. And I just went a little bit, you know, I mean moodier for lack of a better word. So where things were brighter, I just picked a more subdued kind of dirty version. And I think it looks, I mean, I love it. I'm planning on stitching everything up through the steam that's coming off the pot, and then deciding how I'm going to stitch the witch's dress. I don't think I have a color picked for that yet. I just want to see how all the other colors look first. But I love this. I love this so much. I love that cauldron. And look how cool that pumpkin is with those little motifs in that pumpkin. Very cool. The other thing that is different on my version is it had a ton of French knots. So these little dots here, these are all beads. And so I'm beading as I go because, well, you know, a bead would replace a stitch, whereas the French knots were like in between stitches, you know, so you've got like a grid, I think you understand. And so I had to randomly leave things out, and so that's why I'm beading as I go to make sure that it looks nice. Otherwise, I don't know how else I would have done it, honestly, but yeah. So normally I wouldn't bead as I go, but it's working out just fine. And these are just little random white beads that I think I got in a box, or they were left over from something else. All right, next we are getting down to the end. I don't have, okay, I probably have 10 left. Okay, next is by Yasmin's Made with Love, and this is called The Key to Growth. I started this in, oh, we're still in March. I started a lot of things in March, apparently. Here's where I am. So this is either 32 or 36 count. It's 36 count Vintage Country Mocha. And I'm stitching it in Roxy Floss. It's actually charted in Roxy Floss, but I am not using the called for Roxys. I'm subbing with flosses from the holiday countdown sale boxes that I had. So in the spirit of the pattern color choices, but different floss. But I think it looks lovely. I love this pattern so much. I can't wait to have it done. It's gonna get some love this month because it's got a flower on it. Next, we're going back to Halloween because Halloween. This is a Witch Training Academy by Kathy Barrick. I think this is a 2022 Nashville release. That sounds right. Maybe it was a 23 Nashville release. I don't remember, but it's lovely. Here is where I am. I've got the witch done, the big witch. And I am stitching, this is Heather from Picture This Plus. I believe the called for is a fox and rabbit, and it's not purple. I don't have my charts here, and you guys can have just saw the picture, but I did not. So I have done some color substitutions. I'm not using, I think this is an overdyed. I use an overdyed for her hair. And I'm going to change the witches. The little witches have some purple in them. I need to pick the right purple to look nice on this fabric, because I think the called for is a little too like pink something. Anyway, that's where I am. I also really like this. She looks good. Witches on purple are one of my favorite things. Next is a Autumn Lane Stitchery pattern. This is called Happy Halloween. Halloween. This was also in Just Cross Stitch magazine, and now I can't remember if it was Halloween 2023 or 2022, or if it was one of the October issues. But regardless, if you don't have that, it is available as a PDF on their website. And here is where I am. Wait, is that upside down? That's really upside down. There. Yeah, because those are his little eyes. I've got some of it done. This was charted on Picture This Plus Murky, and you stitched the moon. I did not, I believe. I did not want to. So this is, I think, this might be Creme Brulee from Forbidden Fiber Co. Or something like that. But as you can see, it looks like the moon that I could have stitched that I'm no longer going to stitch. If that makes sense. It's just too much background stitching. Look how cute he is. I think I could get him done this year. He's not a ton of stitching because it's mostly just all those branches. I'm obviously finishing the owl. All right. Now, next is another Halloween pattern. So I usually start stitch Halloween in April, and so we're in April of this year. So a lot of these are April Halloween starts. This is my next one. Yeah, there's a crease there because I did iron these, but then I folded them and they got creased, but most of the stitching is here. So this is Away We Ride from Blackbird Designs. I started this with Jen from Jen's Fiber Web, and this is where I am. I started in the bottom left, and so I think I think it's only about this much further, because it'll say something find the home of the Wicked Witch. And so I think I just needed the, and I'm stitching it with the called for mostly. I know I subbed in some of the black, so my border is going to be slightly different in the colors than the called for, but other than that, same. And this is Vintage Country Mocha. I was going to sub in a gray and then Game Time Decision switch to Vintage Country Mocha. Next, I have a pattern by Miriam from Roomy Crafts. This is called Silk Garden. This was one of my 24 and 2024. This was one of my May starts. And here's mine. I'll show you far away so you can see this beautiful fabric. And then I will show you close up. The fabric is Mirage by Picture This Plus. And I'm stitching it in the called for DMC. And so that's where I am, bottom there. I think the colors, well, she charted it on white. I think this fabric, and I think I'm going to turn it sideways just so you can see it better. color representation. I think it's good. I was trying to get almost every color on so I could see how they would show up, and I think it's looking really nice. Next is Greenhouse of Oddities by Lola Crow. I missed out on this stitch along. I bought it late and then didn't. I stitched the freebie that was at the end, the little it was a little terrarium of carnivorous plants, and I just started this May. This was also one of my 24 and 24s. Yeah, it was. Yeah. And I love this. I started in the middle because one of the perks of not stitching with the stitch along is you can do whatever you want. Obviously, I've stitched none of the outline yet. Just that corpse flower there and those little Venus flytraps. This is, it's Ada. I think it's hand dyed by Rolanda. That sounds right. Hang on. Alchemy. Oh no, it's Alchemy by Picture This Plus. And I'm stitching with the Call for DMC. And it's Livy. It's the only, this is my only Q snap, and it's just been sitting in here waiting for me to pick it back up. I find that these softer hand-dyed Adas, the Q snap is very helpful. And it's just fun to try new things. And Q snaps to me count as a new thing because I generally stitch in hand. I know they're like old hat for most folks, but for me, that's still novel. All right, so we are we're still in May. The next is a stitch along that I started. I think I've seen a bunch of beautiful versions, but I think Jen from Jen Fibers Web enabled me to start this. This is by Quaternion Creations, and it's called the Forest Fairy Tale Sal. We're on like part 5 released, and I think I'm on like part 2. So not a ton done, but here, I'll show you from far up back and then I'll show you close up. So this is being stitched on another Lugana from Forbidden Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers, called for DMC, which is 310, that rusty red color. And then there's a green. I did change my green just because this green looks better on this fabric than the called for, but those are the only 3 charted colors. There are some folks, if you follow the hashtag, which is hashtag Forest Fairy Tale Sal, who are stitching on completely different colors, like, all the colors, not stitching it, and just the 3. Very beautiful. Yeah, there's cute little mushrooms in the bottom. I think the border was released, and then this part was released, and then I think it's like filled up through like here. Well, if I don't know what picture I'll put in here, but maybe I'll put in a picture of where we're released to thus far versus just the teaser photo from the original release. But I knew I wasn't going to keep up with this when I started it, but it's because it's just one color and it's Lugana, it's a great piece for me to have to work on, like sitting on the couch watching TV. It's not stressful stitching, and my stitches on are fat and fluffy and nice on Lugana, so it will get some love this winter for sure. Next is one of my favorite releases from the Witchy Stitcher Patreon this year. This is Leave Me Alone. I'm cross stitching. I was so excited to see this when it came out. It was an immediate must start, and a group of us started it. Hashtag Leave Me Alone Sal. Alex from Salix Stitches, Aaron from Cozy Town Stitches, also of the Hathaway Stitchers, and Caroline from Caroline Stitch Corner. We all started this on Friday, or was it Friday the 13th, or was it just the 13th in May? I don't remember. We started it in May. I think Alex and Caroline both finished theirs. I don't know about Erin. I don't recall seeing a finish, but that doesn't mean she hasn't. I have not finished mine, which is why you get to see it here today. Here I am. I've got Leave Me Alone done. And this is XJU Designs in, this is Witch's Brew, right? Elixir is the green, Witch's Brew is the purple. I think that's right. And that's where I am. I believe it's all the called for except I did sub the black for Forbidden Fiber Co. Raven, and that's because I also stitched Witchcrafts on the same fabric, and so I wanted them to, you know, match. Yeah, so I need to get this done too. I just love this. I love it so much. I keep saying that. I'm sorry, folks. I'm sure you're over it, but it's true. It is true. Next, we have one of my June new starts. So I had 2 new starts in June as part of 24 and 2024, and this is the first of those. This is by Rebel Stitchers Designs, and it's from her book Salem Samplers, which has 3 patterns in it. And I started folding chair. I'm sure many of you have heard this quote. It says, if they don't give you a seat at the table, pull up a folding chair. And this is where I am. I'm just going to show you back up, and I'll show you close in a minute. I don't recall what this fabric is. I know I'm stitching it in 3 Dinky Dyes silks that are similar to what was called for. I believe it's charted in Classic Colorworks, and which is like a blue, a darker blue, and a gray, and so that's what I'm doing as well. But I think this will be a quick stitch, and I just need to give it some more love. My next June start, I started on Juneteenth. This pattern is called This Juneteenth Day, and this is by Shaded Stitchery. And I think I've only maybe gotten a day or 2. I am stitching this with, I think, a Roxy Floss Classic Colorworks conversion. I'm pretty sure it's charted in DMC. And this is where I am. I started in the middle, and so you see I've got that little flag and then some shackles in this lock and key. This fabric is flax linen. I think it's Zweigart. It's just a neutral. So not a ton there, but I will definitely be giving this more love this year. Next is a pattern by Sprouting Lupin Design. This is Twilight Nature Walk. She's got a whole series of these nature walk patterns that are all absolutely lovely, beautiful colorways. This one was purples and blues, so it spoke to me. And here's where I am. This is gray mauve, right? Is this gray mauve? Seems very purple. I believe this is gray mauve Lugano from Zweigart. Is that right? Now I'm questioning myself. Yeah, which is obviously not as gray-y or mauve-y as one would think. It's definitely like a lavender. And I'm stitching it with the called for DMC. I love this. I should have this finished by now, but I don't. As she says about every one of her whips. Next. All right, now we're moving into like Christmas stitching because we just got out of July. And then, oh crap, I forgot to grab one of my whips. I'll have to find it. Uh-oh. My most recent new start is not here. Anyway, we'll figure that out when we get to the end of this, and then I'll grab it. All right, so next, this was a July start, and it's called Doodles Christmas by Heart and Hand. I really like the Doodle series. She just released Doodles Maker, I think. That's really cute. I think I need to finish Christmas and Halloween before I buy another one, but you know, if I was gonna buy something from Market, that one's on the short list. So here's where I am. I got a little bit done. I've got that tree, the stocking, the little present. This is, I don't remember what this fabric is, but it's a nice neutral, and I'm stitching it with the called for, which are all Classic Colorworks. These are quick stitches. This got maybe maybe 3 days in July. It's very cute. Next was a birthday start for Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe. She asked if folks were going to celebrate her birthday to stitch on patterns by Hello from Liz Matthews, and I had this one kitted up. This is Autumn Cloche. I love this. Lots of people have stitched this. I've been just waiting for a reason to start it, and her 40th birthday was a great reason. So happy birthday again, Stephanie. And here's where I am. Just a little start. I did a center start with that gray flower there. And this is 36 count Bramble by, who is Bramble by? Whoever Bramble is by, this is Bramble. And yeah, I'm stitching it with the called for right now. I would like to maybe make the pink pumpkins purple, but that's a future endeavor. I got a long ways to go before I'm going to think about that. This is big. I didn't realize how big this was. Like I cut this fabric. Did I cut this fabric to size? No, I didn't, but did I? I don't remember now. But anyway, I needed to do a center start in this giant piece of fabric so it would fit. I guess I didn't. Sometimes things are just deceiving, and I did not realize that when I was like, oh, I want to stitch this, that it was going to be gigantic, but that's okay. Sometimes the big ones are good. I've got 3 more whips in my lap, and then I'll find the missing whip. This next start, you probably just saw in my last video. This is Hibernation Day by Heartstrings Samplery. There's my little start. I'm stitching this with the Roxy Floss conversion, which were kindly gifted to me for my birthday by Stephanie from Frolin Knits. And this is Paper Bark by Fox and Rabbit. And as I said in my last video, I might restart this because I made a measurement error. And it's only like 5 inches wide when you stitch it on. I think this is 36 count. And I stuck it in the center of this giant piece of fabric when really it could be here and I could have like half the fabric back. So it's a small enough start that I wouldn't feel bad about restarting it, but I think I'm just gonna wait and deal with that in like December and not today. I do like the way the colors look. I think it's great, but I have to decide how I feel about wasting all of that fabric. I don't need more fabric, but I also feel bad about wasting fabric, so you know. All right, one more Christmas start is this one. This is The Fourth Day of Christmas by Hello from Liz Matthews in her Days of Christmas series. I've stitched the first 3. I would like to stitch all 12, and so I got the 4th one started last month. And here's where I am. Just a tiny little start. This is on 40 count fog linen, and I'm stitching them all on the same fabric with the called for DMC. So I just got a little bit done. It says Joy 2, and I started that little bird. And then one more whip that I have is this one. So this one, I've been counting each of the motifs as a finish, but overall it is one giant whip, which is really nice for your finish count for the year. But basically, technically it's not a whip because I haven't started the August motif yet, but it is a whip because the whole thing is a whip, right? Whatever. This is the Stitch for Pride 2024 stitch along from Dee's 20 Stitches. And here's where I am. Oh, that's upside down. I'm stitching this on 32 count Elegant from Fortnite Fabrics, and I was lucky enough to get the floss pack dyed by KN Yarns for the sale. And yeah, every month is here except I have not started August. So January, February, March, April, May, June, July. I think that's how it went. I think Frida was in June. Oh, isn't it good? So good. The next month's one piece goes right here. So I will get that started soon and finished. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. And now we're down to my very last whip. So I did go grab it. I did forget about it, but that's okay. This is my most recent start. I started this on the 5th of August, I think, and this is a stitch along that was just released from Fine Frog Stitching. It's called Plants and Petrichor, and I think only the first part is released, so I'm not behind yet. Here's where I am. I've got the main window almost all stitched and started working on the ledges, which is where I assume the plants will be. This is Night Sky, 32 count by Fiber on a Whim. And stitching with the called for DMC. So that is it for my 2024 WIP Parade. 50 whips. We'll see where we are in a year from now. Probably somewhere around 50 whips. I would like to be, I told myself I was only allowed to have as many WIPs as I was old, which means my WIP number will always be able to increase. But I'm not 50 yet, so I'm over that number. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, I will see you in a couple of weeks for a regular Flosstube video, and maybe some of these WIPs will be finishes. We can hope, right? All right, happy stitching, folks. Bye.